I want to talk about something that I think is super, super, super shocking. And why I find it shocking, I think it's the most advantageous thing in the world. Most people kind of get into each other's frame. We start talking to each other, and you get lost. We start reacting to one another. The easiest way to change that is to do something called a pattern interrupt. Jack, can you pull up the slide on pattern interrupts for me? A pattern interrupt is one of the most shocking things you could do. But for most part, most people don't know what a pattern interrupt is. Now, what you're seeing now is a massive pattern interrupt. This is a porn website. No one expected that, right? Nobody here expected that. That is shocking out of our mind. Jack, you take it off now. Now, a pattern interrupt is something that you can use at any given moment to throw someone off of whatever it is they're doing. Someone calls you out for something, pattern interrupt. Someone says something, pattern interrupt. You're in a negotiation, it's not going your way, pattern interrupt. You want to hypnotize someone, pattern interrupt. It is the easiest way to throw someone off. In that moment, although you don't know it, I could have hypnotized the entire fucking room. Because who expected that? Shut up, no way. Who felt super shocked by that? Was it part of the norm? No. Now, it's not just a pattern interrupt. What else was it? No, what else was it? Now look, another thing about framing. Have I lost frame? Have I not maintained my frame the entire time? Even while showing you that? Well, I'll answer your question in a minute. So, there were two things I did there. Shocked you, which was a pattern interrupt. And two, deviance. I normalized something that's taboo. And by doing that, I've now created more room in my presentation just because of the law of, contrast. Just because of the law of contrast, I've now created more room in this presentation to push the boundaries as long as I don't push it to that boundary. Because that is now an extreme. I also did something deviant, deviated from norms. This entire seminar, have I worn a suit? No. Have I been more casual? Yes. That's also deviating from my norm. All of these things are crushing an expectation. And those are all subtle pattern interrupts. So a pattern interrupt is simply, here's the definition. A pattern interrupt is interrupting an expectation. Someone has an intention and they want to get something out of you, you interrupt it. Someone comes up on stage and says they're suicidal, and I'm like, guys, round of applause. What is that? It's a pattern interrupt because it interrupts the pattern. It's like you're trying to do something and I stop it. And when you stop a pattern as it's running, here's what the mind does. The mind opens up a window that allows you in. I showed you this model. There's this filter. A pattern interrupt immediately opens it up because you're expecting something. So you have an unconscious pattern that you launch. I interrupt the pattern somewhere here. This stays open. And for a moment of confusion, I can hijack that pattern and talk about it because it's pretty simple. So I'll give you an example here. Everyone, put your hands out in front of you. Go like this. Look at your hands. Like put them above your bottle because I know your bottle's going to be in the way. And look in between your bottle. Now, I'm just going to do a quick test. I want you to imagine your hands are magnets. If you do a good job at this, you're going to find your hands start to come closer if they're not already touching. And they're going to start coming closer and closer and closer. Now just allow those magnets to slowly come together. And allow those magnets to really, really move together. Perfect. Stop. Some of you are doing it. Some of you are not. Now, for those of you that are not, guess what would be a great induction? Pattern interrupt. Sleep. Almost. See that? Sleep. Completely relaxing all the way down. Eyes open, wide awake. That's a shock induction. But it's still a pattern interrupt. You can put your hands down. You guys put your hands down. So I'm just testing the room to see where you're at in terms of receptivity. The more authority you bring, is authority normal for people in their day-to-day life? They're interacting with an authoritative individual? No, they're not. It's rare. So it's a pattern interrupt. Anything that is out of the norm, the brain doesn't have a pattern for. It will immediately get focused on. So if something is not normal, what do? You're driving down the freeway and you see regular cars. Do you really pay attention to them? No. You see a car with a bomb in the back, what do? You pay attention. You see a car with a fucking arm hanging out the door, you pay attention. I was driving on the way here, someone had a trunk, like a Halloween thing, with an arm in the back, you know? And I'm like, oh, that's funny. But I'm not going to forget that because it has novelty. Anything that has novelty is something we don't expect. I'm glad you're enjoying this video. Now, if you want to book a call with me and you're making 6 figures or more this week and only this week, I'm going to be taking calls myself. Now, there's no guarantee that I'll hop on the phone with you, but first come, first serve. So before my calendar fills up, make sure you click the link below in the description right now, fill out the application, and book a call with me. I'll see you on the other side. Enjoy the video. So pattern interrupts are things that shock us. The more surprising it is, the more of a pattern interrupt it'll be. But if it's surprising, what does it do? It brings it to your conscious awareness. The slickest pattern interrupts are below the conscious awareness. So a really great example of this would be, I'm at the mall. Here, you want to come up here for a second? Yeah. Perfect. He came from Romania. We have someone who flew in from Switzerland. Anyone else flying from someplace overseas? UK. No? Who else flew in from overseas? Just in the VIP group. Cool. Yeah, a lot of people flew in from all over the world. It's pretty awesome. So let's say you're at the mall. You're walking around, right? And I come on and I'm like, hey man, I'm so sorry. I forgot my contacts. Can you tell me what time it is? Go ahead and close your eyes now. Go ahead and close your eyes and just sleep. Clear, relaxing all the way down. All the way deep. Eyes open, wide awake. Did you expect that? Yeah. You expected that. The way I did it, you didn't. No one did. I'll tell you why. Because I used the pattern. I launched the pattern. Hey, I'm so sorry I left my contacts at home. I'm smiling. What does that do? Immediate rapport. Immediately what? Lowers the guard. But he's still kind of confused because he's like, why is this guy talking to me? He's still confused right now. Look. Right? I'm just saying. So I expected it. That's the pattern of him just responding. Yeah, I did. But no, he didn't. This is the power of an unexpected pattern interrupt. When someone doesn't expect something, immediately you have leverage. But you have to move quickly. So write this down. If you move fast, they cannot keep up. Now at the beginning, I do not expect you guys to be good at this. I expect you to rehearse this in the mirror and try this all the time. Speed is king. People talk, you don't have to be fast. Horse shit. Of course you have to be fast. Okay, so that's one pattern interrupt. Now I did this at the mall to prove a point. I was walking around with a hypnotist, one of the most well-known hypnotists on TikTok. He's not that skilled, but he's well-known. And I think he's well-known because he's really relatable. He's like kind of like average at skill. It just, the audience makes him famous. We go to the mall, he's like, hey, can you film me? I'm like, yeah, I'll film you. I didn't know how good he was. I was like, let's see, 20 people we go by, one after the next, could not hypnotize anyone. I'm like, what am I doing here? What am I fucking doing? This is ridiculous. He's like, yeah, they can't be hypnotized. They don't want to be hypnotized. I'm like, of course they can. What are you talking about? I'm like, why don't you film me real quick? He takes the camera, films me. I walk up to a random guy, and this is when I got a guy to give me everything in his pockets, go into a store, forget it ever happened, and then I showed him the video. And that was the first guy hypnotized. Now, I used the pattern interrupt. I then proceeded to continue using pattern interrupts, where I would induce people, and they wouldn't even know I was hypnotizing them. They didn't know what hypnosis was. They didn't know what the word, they didn't even know what a hypnotist was. And yet they go into trance because it is normal. So come on stage with me for a minute. Because I did one pattern interrupt with him, by the way, he will automatically be more compliant no matter what. I know that sounds ridiculous, but that's the truth. Because this opened up, I got one suggestion in there. The second you go in there, you now have you have a portal there. You can go in and out whenever you want. So a pattern interrupt opens this. The faster you go, the more you could throw in. And the more open it'll be. Eventually, it stays open. It'll want to close because you want to keep up consciously, but eventually the conscious mind just cannot keep up. So another perfect example would be, what was your name again? Paul. Look at your hand for me. Look at the lines of your hand and just sleep. Really relaxing all the way down, all the way deep. Eyes open, wide awake. See, that's another pattern interrupt. What do we do when we go to do this? That's another pattern interrupt, right? Okay, I'm kidding. Sleep. No, almost. Yeah, you wanted to go in. Sleep all the way down, completely relaxing. Eyes open, wide awake. There we go. See, it feels good. Put your feet together. And just keep it that way. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. All right. So who here thought that looks kind of interesting? Because we're going to do an exercise where all of us are going to be able to do a pattern interrupt. So let me show you how this works. So come look at me. Okay, when I go to shake someone's hand, what's happening? Is this unconscious? Everything we do is unconscious. So this is unconscious. Now the fact that I'm still holding his hand, is that a pattern interrupt? Yeah, it is, isn't it? Everything can be a pattern interrupt. He's even looking at it. Now, watch what'll happen. His hand is still there. See how he still hasn't moved his hand, right? Because he forgot about it. That is all a pattern interrupt. You don't expect it, so the mind freezes. It's almost like you freeze. So that's called a cataleptic state. Can I see your hand again? Just look at it. See? I moved, and now he's in trance. I dropped the suggestion. What was the suggestion there? Look at the hand. Look at the hand. You put it down. Because I moved. What? Look at it. Okay? So in that moment, you get suggestible. And I'm not telling you to use these are very overt pattern interrupts. If you're inside of a room, it's not going to make sense. But a really good friend once told me that when he was in Spain, the walls were 4 feet tall. 1 second. These are covert pattern interrupts. Everyone's paying attention. You guys are like, what's he doing? Huh? You all got confused? That's a covert pattern interrupt. I could have dropped suggestions in there, could have done a bunch of other things. I could embed it in a story. I could tell you a story. Anytime you laugh, is that a pattern interrupt? Yes. Comedians are amazing at this. But if you have intention, that's the difference here, you can get a certain outcome. So, what's your confidence 0 to 10? Great. Did I let him answer? Did I let him answer? No, I didn't. So again, pattern interrupt. Anything you do that is out of the norm is a pattern interrupt. If you start with the pattern interrupt, step 1 will be starting with the pattern interrupt. Second thing is once you have the pattern interrupt, you then hijack it and you do something else. I want to start with just pattern interrupts. You get the pattern interrupt going, and then I'll show you how to lead it into something. Okay? Any questions? So we're going to do an exercise here with, let's do groups of 4 so we can take turns. Yes?
When you say, do you have to pre-frame sleep, or you just say it and the brain knows to shut down?
You just tell them to close their eyes. You don't have to say the word sleep. You can say relax. You can say whatever you want. Look, come here. These 3 cars are worth over $1 million. But something that is more invaluable than that is your mindset. I have a special discount going on right now on a program called Invisible Influence. If you want to learn how to master your mindset for the least amount of money, I'm throwing in a bonus in there right now called Limitless Wealth. All you got to do is click the link in the description where it says Invisible Influence and get it for $49. I'll see you there. So I want to show you what trance looks like. So if you guys look over there at the top, okay? So look at his face. He's already in trance. Now, I want you to find yourself relaxing and imagine this hand repels you. And the hand behind you is pulling you. Sleep. Right? Eyes up, wide awake. So that's an induction. An induction works by shocking someone. Now, if I wanted to do a pattern interrupt, I'd be like, hey, you can go back to your sleep all the way down. All the way deep. Completely relaxing all the way deep. That's a pattern interrupt, right? So you guys see how shocking that is. Eyes open, wide awake. Oh my God, you good? Yeah. It's fine, but how was that? Well, explain what the feeling was to everyone.
Just super
Sleep all the way down. Is it wide awake, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake? What was it like?
super relaxing.
Super relaxing, yeah. So his brain will escape. Now, I don't always have to say sleep. I could just say relax all the way down. See? He's more relaxed. The word sleep's more powerful, though. See? His brain is kind of coming out of word. But sleep, your brain knows what to do when you say sleep. Thanks for coming up. Look at your hand and just sleep. Relax all the way down, all the way deep. There we go. You feel fucking amazing. It's the best day of your life. You know how to do pattern interrupts better than anyone. And you'll be a cool subject for everyone else. Eyes open, wide awake. All right. So when you go to hypnotize someone, Romania, come here. All right. So I want you to look at his face in trance because he's not as well versed in trance. Look up there, sleep, relaxing all the way down, all the way deep. Eyes open. I want to show you something. What did he just witness? He witnessed, I want to show you, he just went into trance differently than how he's gone in trance up until now. What did he just do? He almost completely let go of his body. Why? Because he unconsciously witnessed someone else do it. Interesting, huh? So he unconsciously witnessed someone else do it, so now his brain knows, oh, that's what trance looks like. If you want to actually be cool at hypnosis, you pick the best subjects you can, you do that shit, and then everyone else you pick is just going to do that. And then everyone else you call up is just going to compound. Come here for a sec. Yeah, come here. Watch this, okay? I want you to pay attention.
Okay.
Stand there. Look. Look at what pattern interrupts I use here. Look at them. Turn this around. Sleep. Relaxing all the way down. All the way deep. Completely relaxing. All the way down. All the way deep. Eyes open, wide awake. How do you feel?
Great.
Perfect. Thanks for coming up to sleep all the way down. Look at it like that. Eyes open, wide awake. There we go. You guys understand how pattern interrupts work? It's interesting here. What's it say on your hat?
Tomorrow.
Sleep, that's what it says. Eyes open, wide awake. There we go. Thanks, guys. Give me a round of applause. So how did you feel when I did that?
Relaxed.
Relax. You still relaxed. Good. Get one more time. Go have a seat. So let me ask you this. In Romania, do they do this?
No.
Sure?
Yeah.
Okay. So what is the purpose of this? You're like, what's the purpose of knocking people out? You don't need to knock people out. I do it because it looks cool. You know, I'm showing off. But it's not about that. It's about understanding the process of getting someone to the point where you can do that. How long did it take to do any of this? Seconds. Using a pattern interrupt. If you do something that surprises the mind, they become extremely suggestible to any suggestion you give them in that moment. So, what ended the Cold War? You can have a seat, by the way. Give me a round of applause. What ended the Cold War? Do you guys know? No.
The space race?
No. There was a moment where Reagan and Gorbachev are sitting there and they're arguing on national television. They're arguing. It's probably a theater, but they're arguing and they're like, no, they're not coming to an agreement. Reagan, sitting down next to Gorbachev, stands up and says, no. Hi, I'm Ronald Reagan. Nice to meet you. Starts over. He loved it so much they had a report instantly ended the Cold War. That alone, a pattern interrupt, ended the Cold War. That's how powerful this can be. Can I get a girl who's really good at being toxic to come up? I'm going to show you. I'm not even kidding. Can I get a girl who's good at being toxic? I see people just being shy. You're shy. Yeah, you're toxic. Yeah, come here. She's over there like smiling like, yeah, it's me, but I'm not coming up. That's how toxic she is. She won't even raise her hand. All right. Give her a round of applause. Not for coming up, for being toxic. All right, so be toxic. Just like, imagine we're dating, you start a fight. That's you being toxic? Yeah. You want to go eat?
No.
Great, let's go.
I'm not hungry.
Neither am I. Come on. Come. Yeah, let's go.
I don't want to go.
I already told you I'm not fucking eating with you. Stop asking me. Let's go eat. Come on, right? So what did I do? I just repeated what she said as a pattern interrupt. I took her frame, fed it back to her. When Bridget goes, I don't like manipulative and abusive men, what did I become on stage? And abusive, right? Because what language does she speak? That's her language. So when she's being toxic, what's my language to her? Someone's being an asshole, what's your language to them? Asshole. You're matching and mirroring whatever they're giving you. And then that's an interrupt because no one else does that to them. What gives them leverage is that they are the only one using the pattern. You use the pattern back. They're like, what? Now you're like, oh yeah, you use Kung Fu. I know Kung Fu too, bitch. You know? All right. Say something rude.
I don't like your outfit.
Thank you. You know I bought it at Zara.
I don't like it.
Really? You want to come with me to get more?
Yeah, you can go.
Okay. Zara's my...
I don't like it. I don't like that store.
Which store?
I don't like Zara.
Perfect. I don't like it either. Let's go there.
All right.
All right. You know? But again, I'm not... Who's controlling the frame? Yes. And what is my frame? Is it serious? No, it's flexible. It's nonchalant. So if she's serious, I'm serious. Yell at me. Yell at me.
Why didn't you wake up
You're
this
so
morning?
cute. Oh my God. Right? You see how that's a pattern interrupt? Now, this is all, I'm telling you, this is literally how you have like jiu-jitsu with words. You know, in jiu-jitsu they say use other people's shit against them. Well, you know, whatever they say to me, I'll just put it right back to them. You could practice this. The key isn't to think too much about it. Just do random shit. Start yelling at me. Yell at me.
Why didn't you wake up this morning? We had to go. We had places to be, food to eat.
Did I say anything? Did I say anything? I didn't do shit. But she's still stifled right now. Pattern interrupts are sick. And so is your toxic behavior. I'm fucking done with it. Give her a round of applause. I'm kidding. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a quick exercise because I want to make sure you guys kind of start to get this down. You guys are going to talk to each other and you're going to just interrupt each other's patterns. So does anyone have any questions? I notice you haven't filled out an application yet to speak to me personally. If you're making 6 figures or more this year and you want to talk to me so I can help you crush your goals, go ahead and click the link in the description right now. Fill out the application. First come, first serve. I'm going to be taking calls myself all week. So fill out that application and I will talk to you there.